Hey, happy Saturday. Let's talk about engagement process in the New Testament and how it worked in the Old Testament as well. Specifically, Mary and Joseph, Jesus' earthly parents. You know, back in that day, when you met somebody and you really liked them, you would get engaged with them. If you look at the King James, it uses the word espoused. If you look at the New Living Translation and the complete Jewish Bible, it says engaged. If you look at the Amplified, it says betrothed, and it means to be engaged, married, referring to the agreement of person. You guys can read all that right there. Basically, engaged to be married. Okay, it kind of breaks down what that word is. In those days, it was different because when I met somebody and you wanted to be with them, you would get engaged to them, but that engagement was very hard to get out of. It's not like today, so I've changed my mind, I want to get married, here's the ring back, we're done. In those days, you had to go get a court order basically to be divorced from the engagement because that's how strictly it was. Now, during that time of engagement, you did not live together, you did not have sexual relations together, you were just engaged. The girl still lived at her parents' house, you still lived at your house, or she lived at her own home. And you did not come together until you were married. Another fun fact is about Mary and Joseph. They never had sexual relations the whole time she was pregnant with Jesus. They waited till after Jesus was born and before they consummated the marriage. So a lot of people's like, what do you mean? You have to go to court and get something that says I'm being not engaged. That's crazy these days, right? We'd be like, what in the world? Hardly anybody would get engaged unless they was really in love, because they wouldn't want to go through the mess of trying to go get this dissolved. Well, when Joseph, back in those days, when you were with somebody before marriage, you were kind of an outcast. They didn't want you as a woman. And if they found out afterwards when you were engaged that you were with somebody, you could be stoned to death, you could be exiled. And when Joseph seen that Mary was pregnant, if you read in there in Matthew, he thought about, secretly sending her away so she wouldn't be publicly embarrassed or stoned or exiled, until the angel of the Lord came to him and said, no, this is the real deal, dude. She is going to have the Son of God. And then he took her to be his wife because they would have stoned her and got rid of her. So back in those days, when we see these different words, engagement or espouse or betroth, I think it's called, it's a lot different meaning than what it means today to be engaged to somebody. It's a lot easier today to break off an engagement than it would be in those times. So a lot of the Jewish people still kind of follow this. The Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox community, they still follow this very strictly. So it's the standard they go by. So it's kind of a lot easier for us, not to, say, well, I'm getting engaged and have to go through a big process to get that ended. So it's pretty something cool. I love coming on here and talking about stuff that, we may not think about very much. We just kind of take a lot of stuff for granted these days. A lot different than a lot of different Jewish customs, especially in the world. How things are different in different communities. The Gentile community has something different completely than the Jewish community. So there's a lot of different stuff out there. So if you would, share this video and like it and comment. Have a good day.